Good morning, everybody. How are you? I'm Fotini from Greece. I'm a high priestess. I'm a self-knowledge consultant. And I'm here to share another intuitive and also true communication video about a little part of my story and how I came to do and offer what I'm offering. But first, I want to address something very important here. And it is that there are two ways of experiencing the truth. The one way is like going towards the truth, and the other way is dismantling what you believe it's true so that you find the core. Many people in the spiritual community are explaining and teaching and their offerings, and it's fine, don't get me wrong, how you can attract, manifest. These are the most common words in everything, in almost all video. And recently, another term is coming online, which is the nervous system. As a high priestess, I had to go through the opposite way, and I will explain. I was for 21 years an attorney at law. I practiced it and earned a lot of money, had shaped my whole family life and my work around this work. In a certain age, around 33, I had what we can call a falling out of love with a partner. And at the beginning, apart from my own feelings, the main thought was why this happened. And this is because everything was going perfectly. We didn't argue, we had a common interest, we are having a good time. At that time, I had already divorced my first husband and I had a 3-year-old son. And when I did this question, the main question that was behind all was, what am I missing? That was the main question. What am I missing? Keep that question, because almost 20 years later, sitting in my balcony, I understand that that question had shaped my path so that I could see that I didn't miss anything. But in order to see that, I had to deconstruct, that was literally deconstruct everything that I had constructed. And that was the path of loss. I had to lose. But let's go back to the initial path. When I make this question to myself, I start researching. And the first thing I found was the teachings of the 7 rays, which is part of my main course now for all people. Slowly, what I found out was all my previous lifetimes, the teaching that I had received in the temples and in my previous lifetimes. At the end of the journey, which happened around 1 year ago, when I start fully integrating my higher self and my monad, I am a secondary monad, love wisdom, I started integrating my wisdom. I understand that everything was literally inside me. And I know that this is very common for many of you to talk about it, but you haven't experienced it. Because I went from earning, for example, 10,000 euros to 0 euros. And the thing was that the most precious, it's not a thing, it's an awareness. What is behind the one who is creating? And that's the soul. But the soul has no substance, has no measure. It's not whether the value is 1 or 2 or 1 million. It's not about that. The soul needs to see itself, and that's the word enlightenment. By the way, my name Fotini in Greek means the one who is enlightened and shows the light to others, but I couldn't see. You know why? Because my light was shining upon the darkness and upon the light of others. I could see the others, but I couldn't see me. So, my soul told me later that it actually withdrew me from the light, from the stage, and kept me in the dark so that I would decide again to shine. And in that moment, I had my rebirth. And I realized fully that I was behind all that. But in my pursuit to be loved, remember, my path started falling out of love. And so in my pursuit to be loved in the way that I wanted, I did the wrong question. What am I missing? What am I lacking? And so the path took a wrong way from the human observation state, but the right way from the view of the soul. At the end, these two ways, which actually is duality, merged. And I understand now that it's all about doing and expressing the right questions. This video is about two things. The first is the activation of the throat chakra. It's in my offerings. You can find them. I will post them in the community board. I said it too many times, but you can send me emails. The throat chakra activation is about uniting your head and your heart. It's in an etheric activation. And start bridging the gaps of the 7 layers of your body that holds the unified field of all your energies. And what I mean by that is that everything is inscripted in your body and in the 7 layers around your body. By the way, this is your Akashic records that you are paying others to know. When you are connected with your throat and you have cleaned the 7 layers, which, by the way, a clairvoyant like me can tell you where there is a gap in one of the layers, probably in all of layers, you have to find out the bridging word from your own throat chakra so that you can bridge the gap. And in that way, you are becoming whole again. These modalities are the new way of holistic healing, but through your own consciousness. I cannot say the word for you. I can say the word for me. But I'm teaching you and I'm seeing where the gap is within your 7 layers. And so I say that this, for example, in your emotional body, there is this gap, or in your mental body, or in your physicality. And then you and only you can bridge this gap with your words. And so you can free yourself, because the throat chakra is the freedom chakra, the Aquarian chakra. You can free yourself from the limiting belief that you are carrying. And I know that everybody believes that we have the same limiting beliefs, but it's not, this is not true. Because yes, we attune into the old programming, but there is a specific or a bunch of specific limiting beliefs that you are carrying. For example, my story started differently from others. I see, for example, now in my country, many women who are self-knowledge or coaches who are teaching how they became abundant after they were poor. And so, because most of the people don't have money, they believe that they can do the same. And partly maybe it's so, but the thing is that it's not about copying the other, because most of the time this is not the path that your soul wants you to take. Part of knowing thyself, which is written in the Oracle of Delphi, I was an oracle in Delphi in previous lifetimes, it's about knowing thyself, making your soul the co-creator of your own destiny. And we are not having the same destiny. We are individuals, and Aquarius is about individuation. It's not about all being the same. We all want money, we all want cars, we all need, I don't know. It's one part to have your body sustain, it's another part to fulfill your destiny. By the way, in astrology, this is your north node, but in esoteric astrology, which is part of what I do, it's the opposite cycle in your birth chart. One way from the first house to the second is your personality, 12, 11, and backwards is your soul. So I'm going to leave it here. I hope I gave you a perspective of how to work with me or to be more in tune with your own etheric body, and knowing another thing, that your body is your boundary. But in order to create a new environment in all areas of your life, it's not only about magnetizing, it's about bringing your body in the home of the soul, returning to you, trusting you, not trusting another. So every method that you take, it's about you feeling good with you. It's not that the other is saying something wrong, but creating relationship, which is the basic for the new era, is creating the relationship with you. Because as I said at the beginning, and this is why I shared my story, is that I had it all, but I hadn't established the relationship with me. And so everything was gone when I did the wrong question. And it is within this truth that everybody is losing its own core issue, because everybody asks the same question with the other, and this is not self-mastery, this is not self-individuation. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope to see you again. Please, if you find it interesting, subscribe to the channel so that you receive new ones, and I would love to see you in one of my activation or to have a session with me. Bye.